Well, good evening and welcome to this special edition of Island Stats Talk. I'm joined by Adriana Panarodic and Campbell Patton, two young sailors who took to the waters this past weekend during the Laser National Championships. Campbell, you were the winner overall. Adriana, you finished second, but the first female. Campbell, take us through Saturday and Sunday for you because the conditions kind of suited you with the way the wind and every all the conditions were for the 2 days. But you got a good start on the Saturday. Obviously, Sunday was a lot more wind at times with those squalls coming through. So take us through your weekend.
So yeah, you're right. It was a bit of a windier weekend. Saturday was supposed to be light breeze, but it ended up being on the more medium to heavy air conditions, which you're right, it did play into my specialties because I actually normally sail a slightly larger sail size with the laser, and that's the men's Olympic class, the full rig, and I stepped down into the laser radial to do the nationals because that's where all the competition was this weekend. And so I like the big breeze. It's physical, and it was really good fun. And Sunday was very gusty, lots of squalls, and some good waves on the harbor. And it's my first time sailing a laser in Bermuda in a long time. So it's been great to be back.
Yeah. Adriana, obviously for you, you're out there, a girl amongst boys, but in the sailboat it's kind of equal at times. But how did you manage Sunday's weather as opposed to Saturday's weather? Because you had some consistency on Sunday, but you were up and down a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah, so on Sunday, I guess Sunday I was just focusing more on like speed, whereas Saturday I was actually like focusing more on like tactics with the other competitors.
Yeah. When you guys look at, obviously, as sailors, you're looking at the forecast to see what the weekend's going to be like. When it's light air, what do you have to do to adjust yourselves in the boat? Because, like you said, Campbell, you're sailing a different boat, but you've come down to sail this boat. What do you have to do to adjust for not only the light air, but also the weight and making sure that the speed of the boat is being able to maintain?
Well, like Adriana was just saying, actually, when it's lighter air, you have to think a lot more about where you put the boat, and everybody's speed becomes much more comparable, much more similar. And so instead of a drag race, it's a mind game. It's like a chess game, and it becomes really based on the decisions that you make before and during the race. And so you just got to stay really alert. And it's also less physical. The windy conditions are really physical, and I think both me and Adriana love the breeze, and we love to go fast. But you got to be able to do it all.
Yeah. Adriana, Campbell was getting some good starts. Any thought of trying to cover him at the line to try to make him have a more difficult start? Because I saw the two starts on Saturday, and he kind of just got some great stuff right at the start. Had the boat lifting and was gone, and kind of everybody was chasing.
Yeah, so the starts for me, I'm not the best at starting. I still have to like learn from that. For me, I was just trying to get a good lane and just hold it out as much as I can until getting over to the favorite side.
Yeah. When you look at the lasers that you were in this weekend, how much more time do you think you have in that, Adriana?
Uh, as in a lot, as in, sorry, can you repeat the question? So like
Particular boat, because there are times where people, yeah, where people
yeah.
either they
Yeah, so probably,
have to get
yeah.
in a different class or they they get too tall for the boat?
So
Can you hear me?
right now, yeah. So the laser radial, probably be in
Yeah.
for hopefully at least the next 4 years. My goal is to go for Paris 2024, as that's the women's laser radial, the Olympic class for the women's. So that's the long-term goal. If I train hard and work for it, then maybe I'll get there. Yeah.
When you guys compete abroad, obviously it's totally different conditions. A lot of times it could be a lake, it could be open water. Adjusting to the conditions where most lakes are in areas where you're surrounded by mountains and the wind shifts are a lot different. How do you adjust, Campbell?
Well, me and Adriana have both sailed a fair bit in Lake Garda, which is in Italy, and it's one of my favorite places to sail in the world. And it's actually fairly similar to sailing on the Great Sound of Bermuda, in that the waves aren't that big or choppy, fairly flat water, a lot about the gusts, but the way that the wind moves around the mountains is a whole different phenomena. And I think the more time that you spend sailing in a place and getting to know a place, the better you'll be at sailing there. And I've spent my last 3 years in Sydney, Australia, which is where I've been doing most of my training, and going to university there as well. And so I've gotten to know that place.
How difficult was it when you first gotten there to sail those regattas in Australia?
Very very difficult, actually. One of the main reasons that I'm there is because of the quality of the competition, and they've got number 1 and 2 top male laser sailors in the world. And in the first few events that I was doing, I was racing against those guys, and it really puts everything in perspective for you, and also gives you something to reach for. And it's a big goal, and it's great to sail against good people because they bring your level up as well.
Adriana, for the laser radial, it's quite a challenge in that boat for the females, but it's a lot of work needed and a lot of work off of Bermuda to do so, because you need to be in active competitions, you need to be actively training and so forth. How would you manage that and manage university at the same time?
Yeah, so exactly. The competition is the hard point. But so at the moment, I'm in the UK studying at university, which means I can get down to Weymouth and train with the top British guys and the ones on the British sailing team, which is quite good to focus on like speed against them, because the British, as well as the Australians for Campbell, the British are also pretty quick, and yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, when you look at how we'll go back to the 2016 Olympics, because we had oh my gracious, Ali Woolman and who was the male sailor? I'm trying to remember who was in the boat, but they had some rough conditions. They had to face. I know 2 of the days, if it weren't the Olympics, they wouldn't have sailed because of the challenging conditions. But when you meet up with what you would consider, because Campbell, you mentioned it, you were sailing with number 1 and number 2. Do you get kind of starstruck at times that, hey, I'm sailing against the best 2 guys in the world, kind of thing?
Absolutely, no, absolutely. At first it was like, no way, like this is unbelievable. These are the guys that I've been sort of watching on social media and TV for like the last 10 years of my life, and now I'm racing against them. Is a pretty crazy thing. But eventually, you sort of get a little bit used to it. It's still intimidating, and they use their status as an intimidation factor to make everything easy for them. They'll push you around on the race course, but it's really good for me. And I've gotten to know a couple of the top guys, and they've been helpful to me and pushed me. And so I think it's overall really positive.
When do you take in the learning part? Because when you're racing, you're geared up to try and figure out how you're going to get around this course as fast as you can, try to beat some guys. When does the learning for you come in? Is it after the racing and you evaluate the day, or sitting around talking to guys about the conditions on that day and what could have been done a little different?
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, so learning pretty much in every race I at the start I'm thinking, what do I need to do to get off the line and up the beat as well on the first upwind. Just I need to look around to make sure I am competing with the top ones, or what am I doing wrong? If something goes wrong, my mind goes, right, what am I doing wrong? How can I get the boat moving fast again? So it's pretty much every almost, and then obviously after the race, analyzing what I did and how that happened and why something happened or why I didn't do something. But also during just keeping an eye out.
During the when you guys were sailing the Opties, obviously after each race, you all got to go to the coach's boat and get your instructions and what went right, what went wrong. But when you're in a bigger boat, such as the Laser or the Radial, you've got your coach there. You kind of have more time to talk about, well, whenever there's a gap in between races, you can go and get some instructions. But when you are you a calm person after a race, or if things don't go your way, are you one of those that I don't want to hear from the coach, so I'll go sailing off somewhere and then come back, or are you one that would go to the coach and say, where did I go wrong? What do I have to do to adjust?
I'm probably maybe a little bit of both at times. Sometimes I'm like, I'll go to them, but I just won't. I'll just like have a breather first to think about what happened, and then I'll talk about it. Yeah.
What about you, Campbell?
I think naturally I would be more of the first one that you suggested about not wanting to talk to anybody and being really emotional, because I'm quite competitive. But I do know that it's the right thing, to go talk to your coach, and it's not like they've done anything wrong. And you learn from every race, whether you did well or did poorly. So it's always the right thing to talk to someone. And I've actually not got my coach here right now. There's a couple coaches that I was working loosely with from Bermuda Yacht Club this weekend. But most of the training that I'm doing, that I will be doing now in Bermuda, will be by myself, which is a challenge.
That could be difficult at times, can it be? Because when you're by yourself, you might feel as if you've got the boat speed, but when you're comparing it to somebody else, it's not really what you want the speed to be, isn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So that's why I'm lucky to have Adriana here to line up with. She's super fast, so we can really work on that while she's still here. I'm staying here till December, and hopefully we'll get lots of training in.
Yeah. Well, once you get back to Australia, you kind of hit the water running, because they'll be in their season, won't they?
You'd like to think so, because it'll be summer in December when I go back. But the main issue is the COVID crisis is not going as well there, and it's quite hard to get out on the water. The Australian sailing team with all the Olympic guys, they've got their secret little hideaway spots that they can go to. That they're exempt from all the restrictions, but for me, who obviously I'm not on that team, it's quite hard to get out this year in general. So I'm almost better off with the freedom that I've got being here, and it's so beautiful. So I can't complain.
Adriana, how often would you like to get down to Weymouth to train with the British guys?
Usually I try and go every weekend, and then so the weekend, so 2 days of training, and then yeah, usually during the week if I can, once a week, once during the week, and then during the weekend. So maybe like Wednesday, because usually on a Wednesday I don't have much going on with university, so I can make my way down. And during the week would be more on my own, and then the weekend would be with the group, and yeah.
Does your school have a sailing team?
Yeah, but it's more like team racing, and yeah.
Okay.
In
And what are you studying?
I'm studying yacht design and production.
Okay. Studying something that you love to do.
Yeah,
You like the racing part.
yeah, yeah.
And Kevin, what are you doing in Australia?
I study sports science at Sydney Uni, and I'm doing
Okay.
this semester.
Sports
So
science. They're big on that, aren't they? Because they're very much into getting the best physical part out of every athlete, no matter what sport it is, isn't it?
exactly. So it's also a degree like Adriana's that I can apply to my sailing.
Oh, okay. Okay. When you guys kind of decide what is next for you, have you? Well, obviously, Adriana has already indicated that she has set her goals on 2024. What have you set your goals on, Campbell?
Oh, exactly the same thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's always been a dream of mine to go to the Olympics, and it's the right time, and it's time to start working for that now. I think it's right now is the beginning of a 4-year cycle until then. So that's my big goal.
Okay. Usually every year well, in January in Miami they have the big international regattas and so forth. Have you guys heard if that's on this year, or I mean next year, or they have already canceled it? Do you know?
I'm not aware about the Orange Bowl or the Olympic Regatta in Miami in January,
Mhm.
but if I had my guess, I would say it would be canceled. Everything in the next 6 months is just about being canceled
Right.
on the international stage.
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to thank you both for your time. I wish you both well in your training and your journey in life, and hopefully 2024 you are both wearing the Bermuda colors in Paris. So good luck.
Thank you very much.
All
Appreciate it.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
You guys be good. Folks, thank you very much for joining us here on Island Stats Sports Talk.